Let's get ready to rumble!
Got it.
There's
Tap.
the tap.
That's it.
Daniel Cormier defends his UFC heavyweight title.
Oh, he's going out. He's out. He's out. He's out.
Ben Askren
Fighting.
Out of Dagestan, Russia, presenting the number 2 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Khabib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov.
Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Sunday Stories with me, your host, Fahrim Shirinzade, when we cover ongoing headlines and meet interesting fucking guests. And today we have none other than Zlatko Ostrogonac.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a hard name, man.
Really hard. I know. All my life, everybody have hard with my name. So
Shit.
yeah, I'm used to that.
You're used to that.
Yeah.
We got to know each other for a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long. And I think it was like between that moment, I also got to know the sport, MMA and UFC.
Yeah.
And like, I got to know that you work with it like almost full time, right?
I will not say full time, but 50%. Yeah,
50%.
with MMA.
All
definitely. Yeah.
But how big is the sport in Sweden? I feel like this is like a state thing. United States makes it so big, and now it comes to Europe, tries to open the doors.
I will not say the MMA coming to Europe now. MMA have been here for maybe 15, 20 years, but
That
not so
long?
big. Not
Shit.
so big. The last 10 years, it
Okay.
expand here in Europe. You know, like if you check Sweden,
Mm-hmm.
for example, being in Sweden, you can see like Globen, the biggest maybe ice hockey arena in Sweden,
Yeah.
have been filled maybe 5-6 times.
Shit.
And there was like record filling, you know. And then we have like the biggest MMA event in history in Sweden, and maybe the third biggest UFC event have been held in Europe, also Sweden, Stockholm. It was in Tele2 Arena. It was like 33,000 in audience. I was there and it was really, really huge. And the thing with that was, that event was 4 o'clock in the morning, European
No
time.
fucking way.
Yeah, to match it with US. So it was like
shit.
crazy that they have 33,000 people. And that was bad night for Swedish MMA because the biggest MMA star, Alexander Gustafsson, lost via TKO
Right.
in that fight.
Is he retired, by the way?
I don't know. He last UFC in Sweden.
Yeah.
He get finished
Yeah,
in fourth round, I think.
Oh shit.
And he was like, I'm retired. I'm done with this. But now I have watched President Dana White,
Yeah.
who's telling us that he wants to come back. And I have
shit.
also heard it from my source that he's interested to come back. But, you know, he's a legend. He has fight for the title 3 times. And he's the biggest name, definitely.
Damn.
And I hope we're going to have one more big name in Sweden like him here, you know, because this is good for Swedish MMA and European MMA.
Absolutely. The thing is, like, I thought it was, I don't know, this is mostly because I don't know anything about this topic. That's why you're here,
Yeah.
co-hosting
Okay.
the show. But I thought, I started reading a lot about this sport, and I didn't see so much like in smaller towns in Sweden. You know, maybe it's happening in Stockholm, but I don't see like I just see like the fight clubs in smaller cities. They just they train and stuff, but not like big events. You know, like the people in Sweden, they're not a big fan of MMA. They maybe watch football or hockey. But suddenly, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I started reading about it just a couple of months ago, but I feel like it has been like a boom, man. It has been like exploding.
Swedish MMA is exploding up right now. We have, like 4 years ago, we had maybe 2 events per year in Sweden.
Right.
Now we have maybe 2 events a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Like around the cities?
Around the
Sweden. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Europe, we don't need to talk about it. The thing is with that, like, I think it's really expensive to have MMA events. But if you combine MMA events with amateur fighters,
Yeah.
and professional fighters that you need to pay, then you don't need to go like minus every event
Right.
to success.
Right.
You can also work with that, give professionals platform where they can fight and take the fighters from another countries or another cities in Sweden so they can face each other, and professionals platform to get experience to fight in front of people not fighting some clubs in front of 20 people, you know.
Right.
It's totally different, you know. The it's more pressure, it's more like spotlight, you know.
Yeah.
And then you give them experience, you give them everything to get to another level, have this experience. Because when you come to UFC, you have like 15,000 people watching you.
Shit.
And then it's totally different. In Europe also. So we have like all the megastar is from Europe. Conor McGregor, he's the megastar from MMA.
It is, right.
Yeah,
right.
he's from Ireland.
So let's say that I would start the sport, right? I would absolutely get mashed up. That's one of them. But how long would it take for me to even get the, you know, the sunlight of the, you know, the UFC? Maybe never.
Listen, this is really risky work for fighters. Fighters put so much effort into this, you know.
True.
If
true.
it doesn't be like it should be, you're done. We maybe broke your hand in the first session. You never know that. But if everything is as it should be, but you're always going to be hurt. You're going to have some pain in the body because you're fighting, you know. I don't know. Honestly,
if I work out like every day, man, every fucking day.
Everything depends of your talent, effort, everything.
Right.
It's mental game, you know.
Yeah, true.
It's really mental.
The thing is, like, I see, like, and I think many people see the sport as a glamorous sport, that you maybe see the top players, you know. You don't see the upcomers that fight every day or break their hands or whatever, you know, like that. Maybe that's like the misconception of it.
But also on the top of the game, they have the hurts all the time.
Yeah.
They get sparring. Thinking if you fight maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah.
With guys who know how to fight.
Yeah. Big guys.
Yeah, and not big guys. Also, you can fight the small guys that flying. You know, you can catch
True.
And think if your life is they're also people, you know.
Yeah.
With bone, blood, everything.
Of course.
And that's the thing. If you fight, you're gonna get hurt, definitely. Also, if you are the best fighter in the world, they come and get you, and you need to be prepared. To be prepared, you need to fight and train smart.
True.
That's the thing.
What is the common like injuries that fighters have?
Man,
is it more to the head?
I would say
or
boxing is more to the head because I have competing kickboxing. After my fights, I was like, I couldn't. I don't know. I hurt in my brain. I hurt in my head. You know, more. I have never fight in MMA, but MMA you can get punched once, you get down, you're groggy, and then finish you're done. And in kickboxing you get knocked down, you get up after 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to recover, and then you're knocked down again.
Damn.
And again. And this, I think there's more for the brain, but also MMA, you fight into the you punch into the head.
Yeah.
So but in MMA you got like hurt in all the part of the body, legs, everywhere, you know, because you do these submissions, and once you broke some bones, and then in the time you get really problem with it.
Yeah. Shit. But we were speaking like before we started the show. We were speaking about like your role in this big sport in Sweden. Can you tell us more about like how you work with this MMA in Sweden?
I would say the 3 biggest MMA organization in Sweden. It's Superior Challenge, the biggest. They have been here for 10 years.
Right.
And it's Cleopatra Aqua Fighting Championship. And these 3 events, I would say, is the biggest for a moment. And how we work, I work like that. I want to amateurs because I like amateur fighters. I want to see the future on my mat, in my cage.
Right.
I want to see the future of Swedish MMA here.
How do you see them though? Like how do you find them?
If you have been, I have been here. I have trained since I was 16. I'm 29 now. So you start to see. I'm not trained now. I don't spar now. I do nothing like that.
Right.
I just like working with management and events, you know.
Right.
And I have my company on the side, but this is one of my work.
Right.
I've been here maybe for 14 years. And I see like this guy's got potential. You see that he can handle pressure, everything, you know. And
do you go to the practices and just check them out, or do you
sometimes? Okay. But not like I'm going around and checking. I don't know that. I like seeing on fighting when it's time to fight.
Yeah.
Then you see practice. You have many fighters that's really good in practice, but when you put the pressure of fighting, then the psychical they can take it.
True.
You know.
True.
So you see them when it's time. The time is when they fight in front of people at some event.
Right.
That's the thing. You see, if you have fighters that are not good in practice, but when it comes to the mat in front of 1,000 people, something happens.
It's showtime.
Yeah,
right?
it's showtime, and then get like they feel good there.
Damn.
It's mental game. Really
What
mental.
it is. It's like all talents. You know, some people are very good alone at something, and then when they come out and present themselves or their idea, they get really bad at it. Maybe this is the same thing. You know.
Everybody you can have big talent. I would say talent is like 10%. It just help you the little extra.
Yeah.
But the little extra is enough to get to the top, maybe. I think effort, training, sacrificing is everything.
Right.
You need to like be on every training. You need to like not go out and party and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Of course, you can do that, but when it's time to do that, and you need to like be focused on your goal.
True.
That's the thing. You need to like show, and events need to see that you are like, this guy wants to have him on my event, because people buying tickets, they're gonna buy again if he fights.
Right.
Because they want to see him. You got it?
Right.
That's it.
But yeah, the interesting part with this sport is like they made it to a huge show, so every fighter has like a nickname, right? Is it?
Not every, but you get nickname. It's like
Okay, you get one. You don't put yourself.
so somebody put themselves. I don't want to be. I don't know, this and that.
Right.
But
Because it's about the fighter. That, like you said, they fight. They buy the tickets to see the fighter. It's like a fan club for the fighter. You know, it's
that, like, listen. This is example how some fighters get their nicknames. Like we have in Westeros, we have like to be as bad intention Horilla.
Yeah.
Because when this guy fights, you feel this bad intention. He coming to kill you. And it's bad intention. He don't come here to like love you. He comes to kill you. And you feel this. I'm with him sometimes in his. At his fights, you feel that bad intention in locker room. You feel that he wants to take his head off, for real. And this is his nickname.
How do you feel that?
I don't know.
Is it his
You see,
look?
like this guy wants to kill this guy that he's gonna face.
Damn.
But it's nothing personal.
Right.
The other guy wants to
I
kill
would
him.
feel personal if a guy would
it's not
kill
like a
me
big
though.
sport. I have been with him maybe 5 or 6 times. Yeah, honestly, I feel that bad intention because he come to kill you. Definitely. And he get that nickname. He wasn't like, oh, I'm bad intention. You know? That's the thing. And he's mega talent. He's training in US now and he spar with best in the world.
Whoa.
You know, and he has good potential to be big. You know?
Damn. But like, does he do this full time or does he have anything?
Listen, like I told you, when you get to UFC,
Yeah.
and not maybe first fights, but maybe after first 4 fights, if you win, then you can start to think about, I'm going to do this full time.
Oh, right.
But honestly, if you have good sponsors and things like that, which is really hard in Sweden because it's MMA. You know, if it was football or something like that,
Exactly.
it's different. But MMA, it's MMA. You know, they look at it different. They just look at it like a fight. They don't look at the sport.
But it's very close to boxing. Boxing is pretty big, right?
But there's also in the boxing, it's really hard to get sponsors when you need them. But when you don't need them, everybody wants to sponsor you.
Right.
That's the biggest problem here. In all the combat sport, all the Europe, all the world, why should he sponsor one guy and he don't get nothing for that? You know? MMA, it's really good for the society. If you watch Swedish crime scene, for example,
Yeah.
it's fucked up.
It is.
You know, and we have like many of these guys have want to fight and they like to fight.
Yeah.
And they get to the MMA club and then see that if you fight some guy that can fight, it's difficult. You know. And then they maybe become something. Yeah, of 1 of 10, we're gonna be an MMA fighter, and they're talented for it. You know.
Yeah.
And I think like many sponsors, all the Swedish politics need to watch it as it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more criminals outside, more in the gym,
True.
training, sleeping 8 o'clock because they go up 5 o'clock.
That is
to
true.
train.
That is
You know, like for example, Alexander Gustafsson,
Yeah.
biggest Swedish star. He has been in prison
He has.
for what, like 1 year? I don't know exactly.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Was like a reckless driving or?
I don't know.
Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
But for 1 year, he had been in prison, and MMA changed his life. He's megastar, and like this guy have put Sweden on a map,
Yeah.
MMA map.
True.
Before, for 10 years ago, MMA map wasn't so big, but now put one country on MMA map is not so easy.
No, that's true. No,
Yeah.
it's very true.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, because Sweden is a very like non-violent country, so they like sports that is. You get your beer, you sit down and you watch like football. It's very easy. It's not that violent, you know. But MMA, it's so much expression, so much, you know, so much adrenaline and blood. And I think like Swedes maybe back out a little bit because of that, because of the violence or the crime that you speak about.
I don't know, but these guys have changed it. MMA have changed his life.
Yeah.
And Sweden needs this. Sweden needs sport like this to put them to train MMA, to train kickboxing, boxing. Because when you watch all the biggest champs, if you want, like, Sweden have really good combat sport schools here.
Really?
You know? Because if Sweden had a lot of, in 60s, they had Ingemar Johansson. He was champ, real champ, boxing champ.
Yeah.
You know? And I think the sponsors should watch a little bit more on these sports, you know, not just two sports in Sweden.
No,
because how many people train MMA, football,
Yeah.
for example, hockey, and how many of them going to succeed? How many of these MMA fighters is much smaller guys that train MMA, but
Exactly.
much more going to succeed of them and get to the UFC, get to the
Right.
Bellator, get to the biggest organizations, and put this country on map.
Right.
And I start to see this. That I like right now, MMA expanding. You start to see them. You start to see events in every city almost,
Yeah.
and that's great because in all the arenas start to fill up. You know,
Shit.
the interest is here. We only need. I think this sport need more sponsors. They're gonna go and help events, fighters, clubs
Right.
to get to the top.
Right.
We get everything here in Sweden. You know,
That's
Sweden.
true.
If you watch MMA map on the best countries in world in MMA, Sweden is top 10. Definitely.
I would not
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
it is,
That's
because-
crazy.
I know I'm from former Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Swedish MMA there, they're like, oh shit, they're much further than us.
Damn.
You know, we have everything. It's simple to have cage in your gym. In Serbia,
True.
I don't know. I think one club have cage. Or
Damn.
two.
What is it? Is it because of a money issue
Money
or
issue,
yeah,
money
yeah,
issue.
yeah?
They don't have this support from the state, you know. But
Shit.
if Sweden put little bit more money on MMA in combat sports, we're gonna be
Yeah.
huge. Because in here, in this country, you can follow your dream, and if you get money support, you're gonna get I don't know how far
Yeah, yeah.
away.
Well, it's crazy. Like before you got to the show, just not be like the stupid guy that just asks you a question. I read a little bit about UFC, and it was something that they started like '93 or somewhere like
It's
that.
93, I think so. Yeah.
And there was some information that they got bought 2001. So
Yeah.
after that, they started like growing extremely fast, right?
Definitely.
So the sport is not that old.
No,
So
it's like it's not. This combat sport is old, but when you combine it and like this, that's not so old.
Right.
You have like MMA. You can see footage of I don't know how many years ago. Do you see karate guy facing Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy?
right.
You know, but
Oh, there was specific like.
yeah. It was like that more.
Oh,
You see,
right.
he going and fight in G, you know, and he
Right.
fights without gloves. But
Shit.
when UFC was started by Gracie family from Brazilian, almost like biggest family in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu history, and they
Yeah.
was killing everybody because they know techniques that
Yeah.
nobody know. Because if fight comes to the ground, they finish you directly.
True.
Because they have the skills, and then you have $40 million before they start to earn money on this. You know.
Shit.
And when they start to earn, they really earn, and they lift the sport. Because MMA is a sport, UFC is an organization.
Yeah.
Many, but some people like UFC, MMA, the same. UFC is organization, MMA is sport. I think in every sport you have steroids. Listen, watch football,
Yeah.
for example. They play, I don't know, 60 games in season. It's like 7-8 months. Something like that.
True.
It's
true,
7
true.
months.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, 80 games and all the trainings. I think everybody use something.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when it get cut. MMA, you have USADA that controlling all UFC fighters around the world. So my friends that are in UFC, they like knocking on door 3 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
You get a piss and blood.
What, they come at your home?
Yeah, come at your home. Yeah.
Whoa, that's
so you have
crazy.
like anti-doping commission in Sweden and working with USADA. USADA is anti-doping commission in USA.
Yeah.
And then they just like, you need to check this guy. They go and knock on the door 3 o'clock. You give a piss, and they go, and you need to check where you are. If you go out to holiday, you need to. I'm going to this place for this long time,
That's
so you know
crazy.
where I am.
That's crazy.
So in MMA, you have seen mega stars like John Jones, you name it, biggest stars of the game that's falling on doping controls. Then you see something happens, but I think many of them use that. Still, they get better doctors that tell them take this, and then they're gonna catch you.
Yeah, true.
It's same in the football. But
There must be a lot of research to that. Like a lot of money should be
of course,
thrown in it.
think like if you get like $100 million, if UFC can pay Conor McGregor, I would say $50 million. I don't know, but we say 50 million,
Yeah.
40 million from pay-per-views and everything. Do you know how much UFC earn on this fight?
That must be absolute bunkers.
I don't telling that they use that. I don't tell that. Now
But it's
talking about,
likely.
like FIFA.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one soccer player, football player, get fucked of some doping scandals? Can you remember the one guy?
No.
Do you think nobody of all football players don't take nothing?
It doesn't sound likely though.
Yeah, honestly, it's million players.
Yeah, true.
And I don't know. Maybe I'm not in this sport so much, but think 60 games in 6 months.
Yeah.
And then you have they playing for the national teams.
That's
They don't take nothing. I don't think so. Like tennis players, like for example, Federer and Novak Djokovic, they play for like 6 hours game.
Shit.
6 hours playing tennis, man.
Maybe they eat good, you know. Maybe they like
What, they
eat some apples,
super
get some.
soapy steroids or what? I'm not saying they take.
No,
take
but
something.
it's very likely. I totally get you. It is.
I think in every sport you have this kind of stuff. The question is if somebody works to catch you. It's different to take steroids in fighting game or taking steroids in football, because in fight you punch each other in the face.
Right.
So then they have started really to put stars. If they take something, they get suspended 2 years. You get suspended for this.
2 fucking years.
Yeah, sometimes.
No fucking
Yeah.
way. Damn, that's crazy.
One guy gets suspended for smoking weed. I think it was 4 years suspended.
What is?
And he's mega star, man.
What is it? Doping if you smoke weed?
It was doping before. Now in Sweden, it's still doping, but I don't know how it's USA right now.
Well, I mean, like in the United States, you have like in different regions, it's like allowed to smoke weed, right?
Yeah.
So if you do weed and then come to a game, you know, you relaxed and trying to get some
Yeah, I
in
know,
the
I know,
zone.
I know.
Is it still seen as
Right now, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know there was doping maybe 3-4 years ago. It was like you get suspended for a few years.
Damn.
Nick Diaz was mega star when he gets suspended.
But he has a lot of money, so he could probably make it.
I don't know. But listen, they live from day to day.
Right.
This maybe partying all the time, and money will disappear. You don't make money like this in a MMA game. You know?
True.
So you need to be really smart, because Mike Tyson was bankrupt.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen?
They lived that kind of life, buying
Shit.
Rolex, buying cars, buying.
But he also
women.
smoked and he did a lot of
Not
coke
everything.
and
And you have always, when you get into the negative circle,
Yeah.
they're like Conor now. 2 years ago, you see, if you have followed Conor's life, he get millionaire when he was maybe 24, 25. I don't know.
that's
exactly.
a lot of money for that age.
You get from nothing to something. And you're 24 years old. You like to party. Everybody loves to party.
Of course.
And then you get to Vegas.
Yeah. Fuck, it's a bad combination
bad,
right
yeah,
there,
and then
man.
you get everything.
Put some gambling in it
Yeah.
and then you're screwed.
Everybody love you. He starts his own whiskey company.
Yeah. But what's up with all the fucking, fighters and starting alcohol companies,
Who start company?
No, I feel like every time what is it called? Before the game they have this they talk shit about each other.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it called? Pre-game
Trash talk.
Yeah. So they have this thing, and a lot of places are seeing like a lot of whiskey bottles in front of them. They're trying to promote some.
They maybe get money from this whiskey company, but Conor have his own whiskey.
Oh, it's his own,
12. Yeah,
right.
this is his own, and he make money off that.
Shit.
So this guy, he's fucked up maybe, and he had done a lot for the sport. Honestly, I watched Conor twice. His UFC debut live, and I watched against Nate Diaz rematch in Las Vegas. And it's crazy, man. I've been at UFC, I don't know how many events, maybe 10. I think around 10 events.
10 events?
Yeah.
How much money did you spend on that 10 events?
Listen, because I had my own portal, and I get accreditation, so I didn't spend so much. I maybe spent 5 events when I was fan, and, you know, to going. But then when I started to work with MMA, I had my own portal. Then I get accreditation. It's nothing, you know.
Right.
But when Conor faced Nate Diaz, it was like the cheapest tickets was $350.
Yeah, it is like massive amount of money in UFC. Like people buy the tickets, and I feel like all the time I see it on TV, the arenas are fucking full.
Yeah,
you know.
Conor's last fight, he was facing Donald Cerrone. I think it was $12 million. On a gate, and he's selling pay-per-views. 3 fights, he has sold over 1 million pay-per-views.
So, what would you say, like, you were speaking about what needs to be done from the society to make the sport bigger and maybe, you know, take down criminality in the society as well. But is there something else that will need to happen to make it even bigger in Sweden? Even more money in ticket sales, even more viewers?
We need Swedish Conor McGregor.
Swedish Conor McGregor.
That's what we need. Yeah, because if you like he's mega star. He can quit to fight today. He can be a movie star. He don't need that. He can sell whiskey. He can do commercials the rest of his life.
Right.
Because he's mega star.
Right.
We need another Alexander Gustafsson. That's it.
But I feel like Alexander Gustafsson is, I don't know, I haven't seen him that much, but I feel like putting those two together, it feels like Conor has more like show act inside him.
Of course.
He's more cocky, you know.
Yeah, listen, Conor is trash talker. He can talk, he can sell. That's what he can. Alex can sell also, but Conor's everybody. Compare everybody with Conor with trash talking. We don't talk skills and something like that. We're talking trash talking. Nobody can come close to him.
True.
Because he's, I don't know why, but he's fucked up when it comes to trash talking. And we can say what we want. We can hate Conor, we can love him, but when he fights, people are buying pay-per-views and buying tickets.
True.
Everybody wants to see that. Get him beat, win, or just to see it.
That's true.
But he's selling a lot.
That's true.
For one company as UFC is so important, you know? They have events every weekend, almost.
That's insane. If you would have to bet, you will get $1 million right now. Who would you bet all your money to be the biggest champion of 2020 in UFC? Khabib, right? Yeah,
actually he get really fucked up match now coming up, fight against Tony Ferguson. So that fight, the thing is with Khabib, everybody focused when he get take down to the ground in the game. Everybody focus how to get up. But this guy, I think so, he's gonna focus how to finish him down there. Oh, you understand? He's gonna go to some submission, something like that. He's not gonna focus to get up. He wants to finish him down there, and he's going to the ground.
Well, that's what he did with McGregor, right?
Khabib. He take him down, and McGregor have focus to get up.
And he was just beating absolutely.
Him up because you can't get up so easy.
True.
Khabib is I don't know, he's athlete, and he's like training from when he was born, he was wrestling with bears. You know, but everybody focus to get up. You need to focus how to finish him if you get taken down.
Shit.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with them. That's the simple. You know, everybody focus. I need to get up because I have more chance up.
Right.
When you stand up.
Give some kicks and
then you get
hits.
down again and get fucked.
True.
Simple.
So you will put $1 million to
2020?
Yeah,
definitely.
Shit.
I don't know, man. But fighting game, one punch, you're done. But if I must put 1 million.
All in one.
All in one guy. They're not going to lose this year. I'm putting Khabib.
Okay, so speaking of McGregor and Khabib, let's move back to McGregor and the fight that was 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, something like that,
right. Is it true that he ended the fight on 40 seconds?
Yes, true.
How the fuck do you pay? How much was it? $350, and then you see 40 seconds of the show.
Cheapest one.
and the cheapest one, and then you have to go home after 40 seconds.
And the thing is, people want to see this. They want to see blood. Yeah, he won this fight. He TKO'd him in 40 seconds, and that's done.
You don't get any refund if the show is shorter?
No, that's part of the game.
What?
Yeah, but people went crazy. Did you see it, Evan?
Yeah, I saw it. But
you saw the people around it. It was crazy.
It was a lot of people.
Yeah, everybody was like screaming in a positive way. You want it because you have 12 another fights you can see also. Not just this fight. You have 12 fights and then Conor McGregor.
Were you up the game and watching it, or how was it like?
Before I used to stay up.
Yeah.
You know, but I get kid and.
Was it small kids?
Yeah, small kid.
Yeah, you have two, right? One kid,
yeah.
right.
And then it's really hard, because if I'm up all the night watching fight, coming home, she's get up.
True.
My daughter, and then it's not so easy to sleep, and then you don't get sleep for a lot of hours, and you need to work.
That's true.
So I used to get up in the morning and take my coffee and watch the fight because it's like 6:30. You can get up at like 5 o'clock and watch 3 fights. It's more interested. And then you have watch your UFC game.
True.
In Europe, I watch always because when it's European time, then I watch. I watch this event, but not no more. Before I watch every time when it's big fights, I was up all the night and watch all the fights.
That's great. But I feel like I have to come to the show because you have an event coming in Västerås
9th of February. Yeah.
9th of February, right? That's going to be... How many games are they? How many fights?
13 fights.
13 fights?
13 fights.
4 hours? Or like...
Like 4 hours, we're going to have 5 professional fights. This is our main card.
Right.
And the undercard is amateur fights.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to come there because, like, as you say, it's like... the more I read about the sport, the more I watch the sport, I see the beauty of it, not like just the fights.
It doesn't fight, man. Listen, this is art.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's art.
Yeah, it is.
Because they know how to finish you in every part of the game. It's not easy. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, grappling, it's not easy. Wrestling, judo, it's not easy. It's really hard sports.
True.
And combine everything and you know everything.
That's
Boxing,
crazy.
kickboxing, knees, elbows, and you need to protect and give back and win. Man, it's...
And to get the hits and recover, man.
Yeah.
I don't even fucking get it. How do they like get 5 punches in the head and you still go up to fight
that's
more?
the sport,
Yeah.
You train this. You can't get into the cage and hope that they're gonna punch you.
Yeah,
they're gonna fuck you up.
Like you want to get punched.
Yeah, no, not like that. But some fighters, like when I was fighting, I need few punches in my head. If I don't get knocked, and then start to work.
Right.
You get like, okay, he's on punch or hold maybe, and he punches motherfucker. I need to do something else.
Yeah.
So some fighters like this, and they like Nate Diaz. First 2 rounds, he's like slow starter, and then he started to be better and better every round.
Shit.
He's mega star also, but he started to be better and better every round. He started to be better. More he fights, he's better. Because when you start to train combat sport, you can get really mad in first sparring. You get kick your ass.
Yeah.
And then you can like see like I get killed and I need to focus what to do instead of being mad, because when you're mad you can focus. You're just like mad, and then you need to train on this first and get kicked like for 1 year, and then you start to like see how to do and what's your thing to win over another guy, and then it's art for real.
That's a good point actually. The only thing I could compare it to coming to fighting is I don't know how many times I've been fighting in like clubs, and the thing is when I get mad I can't think of punches. No. I'm just mad. So it is a very like art.
Honestly,
it is.
You need to know how to punch. It's not easy to punch. To know how to correctly punch and get the maximum out of it.
I feel like we're gonna have more episodes with you coming in to dive deep in the MMA, sport and what's happening in Sweden and Europe and so on. And like you said, to sum it up, we need to have a big star like McGregor, to take up the Swedish stage, get the sponsors, change the society's, view on this, right? And then we will have some magic happening, right?
I think so, yeah.
Right.
Or new Alexander Gustafsson.
Right, a new one.
Yeah.
Great. You guys been listening to Sunday Stories with me, your host, Fahrim Shirinzade, and today I had with me...
Zlatko Ostrogonac.
Right. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.